Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport. And I must admit, I had this planned throughout the month to be, up for a Manchester derby for this FA Cup final. But let's just say the script was changed a little bit by Spielberg and all those Hollywood people. And it's actually changed a little bit. Instead, it'll be Chelsea versus Arsenal at a very busy Wembley Stadium. When I say busy, it'll be very empty, in which could be a very interesting final. A repeat of what we had 3 years ago, when Arsenal surprised everyone. And in my eyes, it should have been Arsene Wenger's last ever game as Arsenal manager. He should never have carried on after that. It's always good to end at the very top. And I'm with my good friends here, George Harris, our Chelsea fan, and Kyle Fenn, our Arsenal fan. No, it's not Eden Hazard, it's Kyle Fenn. Stop asking. Let's start off with you, Kyle. It's been 3 years since that final. It was a bit of a shock. Mertesacker played the game of his life, and you went on to win. So surely, for some of your players, they'll look back at that as inspiration, even though they will be the underdogs come Saturday.
I think it's fair to say we were quite lucky in that game anyway. And it was a surprise. I didn't expect to win. And I think most of the Chelsea fans I spoke to are quite confident going into that game. I think it's fair to say. Because you still had, of course, Diego Costa at the time, who was always a threat against us. So it was a bit of a shock to win. Bit of controversy with one of the goals as well, but yeah, I'm not sure what VAR would have made of that goal. But
George, you probably remember the final, unfortunately, from your side, but it just shows, doesn't it, that Chelsea Arsenal over the years, they've had so many finals together, but you just really never know on the day.
I know, yeah. I remember the first one I can remember was 2002, I think it was. I remember watching it when I got back home. I couldn't watch it live, and just seeing that team, and I was gutted that day. But I am confident. I think if you were to pick any side out of those so-called top six that you want to play in a cup final, it'd probably be Arsenal. But just because,
particularly as we're not in the top six.
I was going to say.
yeah, I know. But
how times have fallen.
The so-called big teams, But yeah, I won't rub that in too much. But we're a different Chelsea now, like Carl said. So gone are the days of Drogba and being able to kind of boss it up top and have that physical presence. I think you never know what Chelsea are going to get either. I think it's an inexperienced side, and I think as long as we go for it, I mean that's the key. I think just don't be afraid to go for it like we did against the other big teams that we played this season. Even the Liverpool game, I took quite a lot of positives out of it in terms of scoring 3 against them. So yeah, I'm confident.
It's funny because both teams are pretty much having the same build up to this final, Kyle, where you've got Mikel Arteta, who's only been in the job for a few months. He's already taken them to a cup final, and he had to beat his old boss Pep Guardiola, which was a big surprise, and they won convincingly. So I guess really this is maybe a hint of things to come, Kyle, where if Arteta can get the players he wants, he can build a very promising Gunners team.
Yeah, I think traditionally we've always done quite well with the ball. So it was interesting to see an Arsenal team winning when we only have, I think it was 30% possession or something like that, against a very strong Manchester City team. So it's if you could get them playing like that in the games where we're not on top, it could be positive for the next year or so.
Who do you think's missing in that squad? I know that can't be fixed until after the FA Cup final of the transfer window. But what is it do you think Arteta's missing? Because the whole thing with David Luiz has been a bit hit and miss, hasn't it? He has a great game, then he has a bad game, and then people wonder why he should get an extension. What are your thoughts on all of that?
I think he needs to solidify who the actual first choice centre backs are. And maybe, dare I say it, investigate buying another centre back. And then obviously as well, we still don't know what's going to happen with Aubameyang and his contract and whether he's going to stay. I wouldn't blame him if he wanted to go, because he's not going to have many more years left at the top. So he'll want to make the most of that. He could get one big final contract at another big club before he potentially retires or goes off to somewhere that pays a lot of money.
Dubai, China.
Yeah, fill in the gap. But I think obviously if you went, we'd need to then look at buying a striker as well. But I think it's a good basis for a team, what we have at the moment.
Do you think winning the FA Cup will cement his stay? Because surely then Arteta can show to him, look, if we do it right and we build around you, it can become a very good team.
Yeah, I think us winning the FA Cup this season is very much sugarcoating things.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's a bit like, I think us winning the FA Cup is very much papering over the cracks. It doesn't really change the fact that we've had an awful season. The FA Cup at the end of the day is 6 games, I think it is. So 6 good games doesn't take away from 20 really average games in the Premier League, let's say, or 25 really average games in the Premier League.
It's interesting when you put it like that, because the FA Cup is patches throughout the season, while the Premier League is consistently on, and Champions League now and again is in patches. And sorry, Kyle, just said Champions League to you. Sorry, mate. George, well done. Champions League football next season, along with my team, United. But I mean, the way they beat Man United at Wembley the other week it just showed with Lampard that it's happening, isn't it? It's coming together. The results he got, as you mentioned, the 3 goals against Liverpool, the result against Spurs back in December, all these big results he's been able to get. I'm starting to see some frontline football there from Chelsea where it's getting quite scary to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the direction Frank wants to go. It's very kind of attacking football. I think Chelsea were labelled as boring Chelsea before. With the Mourinho days, he seems to be a bit of a dinosaur in terms of his methods. But Frank's certainly got a different direction he wants to go, and we've seen from the transfers we've already brought in so far. So I'm really excited for next season to see. Hopefully we get Havertz, and we've already got the other 2, Werner and Ziyech. So I'm happy about that. And he doesn't sugarcoat things either. I think he's quite realistic to say we've been inconsistent this season, but I think if someone offered me top 4 and FA Cup final at the start of the season, I would have taken it with the situation that we were in. We're miles away from Liverpool, Manchester City, and probably, even though probably the league doesn't suggest we're not miles away, I still think we are quite far away from United anyway. Just what they're building there, but I'm confident in where it's going, and I just hope they back him. I think that's the biggest shame in football, isn't it? When we could have a poor start to next season, and then all of a sudden questions are asked, but they won't be asked from the Chelsea fans. I think we all got a history with Frank, and we'll stick by him, and hopefully the club does too.
I think as well. Christian Pulisic is the one player I've wanted to see start. He's been on the bench a lot. Willian has been getting starts as well. And, some people criticise Willian and they say he's past it. He needs to go at the end of the season. They had to obviously extend his contract a little bit just to play till the end of the season. But I think ever since the restart, players like Willian and Pulisic have obviously gone out their way to prove why they signed for Chelsea in the first place.
I think that's what we've lacked so much in recent years, creativity, and we were obviously blessed to have someone like Hazard. We always knew that losing arguably the best player in the Premier League at the time it's almost an irreplaceable.
He's here. He's in an Arsenal shirt. He's right there.
He is here. This will all go on Sky Sports Day, so there's breaking news. But yeah, I mean, Pulisic well, you can't really compare. I mean, it's early days, but he's certainly got that magic touch that we need. I mean, we saw that when he came off the bench against Liverpool. And Willian the same. I personally like Willian. I think he's got electric pace. He's always the person that Chelsea go to when we're struggling to try and create something. And I hope we get the contract signed up. I mean, there's been talks that a lot of clubs are obviously going to be interested. Naturally, they are. So
it's definitely a deal.
It's interesting. There's been a lot of criticism of Willian. But I think I can remember just off the top of my head at least a handful of games this season where he single-handedly won you the game.
Yeah.
So how can you overestimate that? Somebody that's potentially given you, I don't know, 10 to 15 points at least.
Well, you can't.
I think that's huge.
I think Frank just the club in general, they want to go over that policy of when you're over 30, only extending for a year, which is, I think, an issue for some players because they want the big payout or whatever, stability at that age. So I don't know, but yeah, I agree. I agree completely.
Happened to Frank Lampard himself. He could have easily have stayed, but didn't quite happen at the end. But he's back. He's back. He can get on it. He could get his shirt and shorts on. Maybe do a John Terry come the final whistle, get his full kit on and lift the trophy. If that does happen, come Saturday. Well, lads, I think we've come down to predictions. Kyle, let's start off with you. Feel free to barge in as well if you want, George, if you disagree or agree with Kyle. But Mr. Hazard, Mr. Fenn, what do you think?
Personally, I'm not too confident. No, I think if we play well, we could win it. I don't know, 2-0, 2-1. But I feel like it could genuinely go either way. Both teams have been consistently inconsistent throughout the season, I think. And I do feel, both with Chelsea and Manchester United, and this isn't a dig at all, I feel like the league this season the league's table is quite flattering. Because of the way a few other teams have dropped their level. But yeah, I'm not feeling too confident, to be honest. I wouldn't put a huge amount of money on Arsenal winning. If I had to predict, I'd say maybe 2-1, 3-1 Chelsea.
Oh dear, George, what's going on? There's definitely the Chelsea Hazard in him now, isn't there? What do you think of that, George?
No, I agree, Carl. I think it could go either way. It's literally a one-off game. Like, all form goes out the window. Whereas before, you'd probably say, with Drogba and all the rest of it, his Wembley record, you'd think Chelsea probably got it, bar a shot. But this one, Arsenal, funny one, because I was confident when we were going for the double with Conte, and we just didn't turn up. And you've already got the danger of players like Aubameyang, and Arsenal can, when they turn it on, they can beat anyone. But the same, they can lose to anyone as well. Davies is a classic example of a player who, he's either the best player on the pitch or the worst. So, I just want us to go for it. A cup final would really, it's not an amazing season, but I think it's a really, we obviously as fans want trophies. So, and as Chelsea fans, we're used to that. So it would be nice to end with a win, but it could go either way. I completely agree. So I'm going to go for I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea, but it could go either way.
Interesting. Well, you bastards ruined the Manchester derby final, and instead it is the almighty London derby instead.